Yes.
Here we go. The show that wouldn't die. Have a
The
beer.
show
Yes.
that will die will not die.
Oh, yes. Hopefully. That is it. We're here. Me, Ian McNally, and Nicholas Caffer. Yes.
Yes, man, it is so great to see you again. You know, I love like seeing my big boy. You know, the way you've grown up, the way you've changed over the last year.
Do you know this is live? It's live. We're live.
Yeah, I know. I'm so proud of you, Ian. You know, before when we first started, we thought this was going to be big, and we had our hopes pinned on it, and we thought we were going to be megastars. But now we've matured and gone, you know what? This is just a beautiful little party. And I've got to that stage now where I hope it never ends. I hope it never ends here.
Yeah, I'm sure you and Gladys feel the same. Just I hope it never ends. Welcome,
I hope
everybody.
it never ends.
Well, welcome everybody in the chat as well. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Really nice to see people in the chat before the show started, and we're running about 2 minutes late tonight, which is pretty good for us, and no tech issues to speak of. So, although I did hear a little bit of playing in the background, but I don't know, that might just be in my head. I did have a horrible moment, Kappa, when I thought it was a good idea to ask people what their classic pub joke is.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, oh no, people are going to be horribly racist. Hopefully that has been avoided. I think
any of our fans would be. I think they would do the pub chat, I don't know, about something else. I don't know what. Actually, I don't know a pub joke that's not racist or sexist, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always a difficult one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very difficult one.
I certainly grew up with the an Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman jokes.
Yes. Really good. Really good classics, in my opinion.
They were, yeah.
The Irishman was always the dumb one, which was annoying because I've got a few Irish friends now, and I like them. I think they're quite smart, to be honest.
They are capable of intelligence. I think as Frankie Boyle said, there was a strange aggression towards the Irish in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s in the UK, which was basically like Irish people were so stupid, but also Irish people could steal your job, which those two things don't match up.
Yeah, I remember when the global financial crisis and stuff, Irish was in big trouble because most of the world's IT was in Ireland, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, the Celtic Tiger. Yeah, it was the fastest growing economy in the world, just Dublin on its own for like quite a time, and it was crazy because it was like it's like £10 a pint when you could go to Liverpool and buy a pint of Guinness for £1.80.
Wow.
But it was pretty wild for a moment there. But yeah, the idea was that guy's so stupid he could have my job.
Yeah.
I do love that concept.
Now, a lot of people in the chat tonight drinking a lot of crazy beers. Now, I see that Sam Smalley, he's got a meat erosion, a Schwarzbier by Mountain Culture. Mate, I one up you, Sam. I've got the Dark Unicorn from Counterculture. Right here.
What is that like, Kappa?
Well, I haven't tried it yet. It's divided my local bottle shop, McCoppins.
What is it? What type of beer is it for a start?
It's a Scotch ale. Now the reason I got it is because I recently went for a walk with a friend, some exercise, and we went to a bottle and I got the Fury and Sons Scotch ale, and it was really good, like really good. And so I went to my local one and I said, "Hey, I just had a Scotch ale. What can you do for me?" And they're like, "We got you this." Now, the owner of McCoppins and the manager said, "No good," but the the two guys that I was working on, who was working tonight, they were like, "It's really good."
Isn't it
so
though like a dark chocolate Scotch ale or something? It's not just a straight Scotch, because a straight Scotch ale is tremendous.
Yeah.
But a dark chocolate one, I do always get nervous when they add in a bit of added sweetness to something. I get a bit upset.
Well, this one's
about
salted chocolate.
Oh, salted chocolate.
So you've got chocolate and salted. That is like Tony Hawk brewing a beer. Like, that's extreme.
I'm not against the experimentation, and Counterculture have not missed a beat with their releases. I mean, they've been great. They did a mango IPA, which wouldn't be to my taste, but was great. And then they did Killer Queen was the first one, I think, which
amazing.
Was great, like an imperial sour. So many. The white stout as well was superb as well. But we've got Joel's drinking a Fixation Little Ray. That is a good standard beer, that, isn't it? And we've also got Stuart saying no echo intro this week. It's a step up in professionalism. I keep those reviews coming. I may as well just get a review like saying 4 stars, nicely packaged, eBay.
I'll tell you what, Ian, I am very keen, because Stuart D says he's drinking his homebrew Cooper's Pale Ale. The homebrew that you guys make, can we have some kind of have a beer guest a year where we pay some money, you guys make some home brews? Because I do want to try home brews from our listeners, our viewers, because they have got such good taste.
I would absolutely, I fully am on board with this, Kappa. I think anybody making homebrew, we'd love to try it. The fact that you've just said we'll pay money for it, I absolutely won't. You'll be lucky to get a smile out of me when I try your homebrew, because I've brewed myself, and I know that when you homebrew, there's this weird thing that comes over you, which is you have to get everyone to try it. And you kind of look at them with a really expectant face of like, isn't this amazing? It's like you would never tell anyone that they've got an ugly baby. It's the same with homebrew. It's like everybody you give it is going to go, yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So
my granddad made homebrew, and it was really good because he was a perfectionist. He was like absolute perfectionist. But it annoyed him that he lived in Queensland on the Sunshine Coast, and it never got cold enough to make it good. Like, he was like, it's always too hot. That's the only reason why it's bad, is because hot. And he would tell you if it wasn't a good drop. So now I feel so sorry for him, because he just had to, because they only had that one home brew pack you could buy.
Yeah. Because if he was like brewing a wheat beer or something, the higher temperature would have been amazing for it. Whereas like in Victoria, they literally sell electronic heat belts that you put around your fermenter and plug it in to give it like a warm cuddle at night.
I mean, I just wish he grew up in this time, because that was his only frustration. And because he made it, it wasn't the fact that he was like some brewer expert or whatever. He was a perfectionist, and he did everything correctly.
So frustrating. I am drinking the Hawker's Hazy IPA, which is tasting really good. I'm not a massive hazy fan, generally, but when it's well done, goodness, it is a nice drink. Really is. So we look. I am. Kappa, when we first started Have a Beer Guest Year, and it probably is, we're probably clocking close to 50 episodes of this, which is crazy. But I found it quite easy to keep up with the chat. And now all of a sudden we've got Jay here drinking Dainton. We've got Craig, who went to an ABBA-themed pub. The toilets were amazing. Waterloo. That is Craig V. Yeah, that is good. That is good. And Justine is apparently they're having that counterculture next, so I'll be very interested to hear about that. And Clint is here as well, drinking Scotch ale. Maybe not drinking Scotch ale, but said it's perfect mix with Coke. I presume the liquid kind rather than the powdered.
Clint's usually right about stuff, and yeah, but I don't know how right you are about this one, Clint. But I mean, he was off the wagon for a while. Now he's back on the wagon, and he's saying all kinds of crazy stuff like mix Coke with beer. Clint, just chill out, brother.
Well, I think like that thing of like, oh, it tastes nice mixed with Coke just means like you don't like it. It's like, oh, whiskey. Oh, I drink JD and Coke because you don't like JD. It's like it's people who like drink as well, like certain beers where like you're like, yeah, you don't really like the taste of beer. That's just like.
I also love it that we're just roasting a bloke that sells beer and lives his whole life as beer. We're just roasting with Coke. You're an idiot, Clint.
Yeah.
What do you know? I'm a comedian. He recruits teachers. Shut up, Clint.
Yeah, why are you suggesting anything to us?
Yeah.
Just a friendly suggestion.
Oh, I'm in my high throne. Oh, I'm surrounded by beer. Oh, design beer labels. Oh. What the fuck do you know, Clinton?
Such a kind suggestion of mixing. And we've also got Benj Pressington. I'm hoping
yes.
diacetyl. That is, someone should bring out a beer called diacetyl. I think there's definitely a pun on there.
Wow, diacetyl. I never had that.
Hey, look, we have got carried away here, Capo. We're here. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is called Have a Beer Guest of the Year. We've been so engrossed in having a beer that we forgot the bit of the show, which is probably the most the thing that drives the rest of the hour, which is guessing the year. Now, I'm going to fire a lot of events and clues from a particular year in the past, and you can play along at home and try to guess the year. Now, you might be able to guess the year after one or two clues. If your name's Susan Williams, you might be able to do that. Most people, they might have to wait. The clues are going to be a bit ambiguous, and then they'll gather pace, kind of make that map in your mind. And Kappa, you're going to have to guess the year at the end of the episode. So let's get started.
All right.
I've just been distracted. You have to close the chat. You've got to close the chat, Kappa.
Turn it off.
Everyone playing at home, don't Google. Don't be doing that sort of stuff. Play along. We trust you.
And for those
we're also
at home,
very suspicious of you and your home brew. So Craig P as well, JD and Cola is my wife's drink of choice.
Well,
fine.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I mean, it's as long as it's not yours, that's fine. You've got to culture someone in the relationship, don't you?
Well, I love that everybody's refused to use the brand name Cola so far in the chat, which is it makes me so proud of the audience.
Oh, yeah, that's great. We really do have good fans here. Well, good viewers, partakers. And I've got to say, Ian, this is fantastic. I really do actually like it a lot.
This hazy is very hazy. It's like pea soup.
Oh,
but delicious. Michael and Stuart have already locked in their guesses. 1572 and 1066.
Okay. All right. Well, no need to give it away, but
so here we go. And Kelv does know that there are some first timers in the audience tonight. Please say hello if you are a first timer in the chat. Josh Barnes is here as well. Josh, I love seeing you at Gabs. It's not 1969. I don't think we'll find out in the clues.
He's just here to meet women, which is kind of. He's a lonely guy, and I told him to come in. He might meet some people. If you are single, send Barnes a message. He's a great guy. He loves PlayStation. He loves sending sending the stats to the group chats about who has COVID today. Loves that. If you're into those things.
I actually got a message from my sister the other day at about like 3 minutes past 9 saying, you haven't sent me the stats through yet. So I'm with Josh on this one. All right, let's get started. In this year, Brunei becomes independent from the United Kingdom. You know, you don't really think of Brunei as that. You never hear the word Brunei without hearing the words Sultan of. It's always Sultan of Brunei. It's never just on its own. But
that's the one country where they had no home brew. When they were still in the British rule, they said, "Do you want home brew?" And they're like, "Brunei." Yeah, I finally got one.
The other interesting international relations thing was that the USA established or reestablishes full diplomatic relations with the Vatican after 117 years. So obviously, I don't know about this, but obviously something happened where the USA fell out with Vatican City, and then 117 years they didn't really speak to each other, and then this year they were like, all right, we'll have a chat.
What the hell is going on?
He broke the bread, he gave thanks, and said, say this already. I mean, sitting around a table is what they do, isn't it?
Yeah. And how do you break up with another country? Like, sure, there's going to be, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the fact that 117 years they didn't talk, like that's generations of people going, nah, don't do that. Great granddad said no.
Yeah. Like, do you think as well they have a boardroom at Vatican City?
Yeah.
That would be like Leonardo da Vinci themed, like the 12, like the Last Supper, where they'd have 12.
Well, they all touch fingers when the meeting's done.
COVID safe.
That's a good idea.
Dip the finger in the hand sanitizer and they probably do worse in the Vatican. But also Philadelphia in this year, they swear in the first ever black mayor called Wilson Good. So that was quite significant in Philadelphia that year.
Philadelphia, all right. Don't know too much about there.
And also Frank Aquilera, he, as you'll probably know already, Kappa, from his name, he set a new frisbee world record. He threw a frisbee 168 meters in Las Vegas.
Wow, that is huge. That is a big, because my flatmate bought some frisbees. He wanted to take up frisbee golf. Which is weird because you know how you just see frisbee golf courses around everywhere. You know, you just see them.
You know, they've got one under the Westgate Bridge.
Is it under the Westgate Bridge?
Yeah. I've never been, but I have heard about it. Maybe it might not exist.
So, of course, he didn't use any of these frisbee golf things. So we thought, we'll use them to throw to each other. But turns out they're just like golf drivers, but they're frisbees. So they're very hard to catch. Like they're not your friendly family frisbee that you throw around. Anyway, my partner and I prevailed, and after some sore fingertips, we were able to still keep playing.
Well, the frisbee got its name because it was like university students. They were playing with you could buy pies from the canteen, and it come in like a foil tray. Take the foil tray out on the lawn and start throwing it to each other. And the pie company was called the Frisbee Baking Company. And so the students would throw it and shout frisbee. And the guy who invented the frisbee was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if you could commercialize that, make plastic ones that you could use all the time.
Yeah.
And there the Frisbee was born.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's awesome, man. I was waiting for some dumb joke there, but I never got it. And I kind of feel let down.
No, I presume it would have been a different film, The Life of Pi, if it was based on Frisbee. There it is. I just thought of that as well. I was quite pleased. So,
I would have liked a misdirection joke there, like the pie place was called Frisbee. When they threw it to each other, there was a dog named Frizz and another man named B, and they, you know what I mean? Just like a dumb. Anyway, that's what I would have done within the joke. Sorry to Stuart Lee this whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to be workshopping. It's the first time ever in this year that 8 people are simultaneously in space.
Whoa.
Just,
All right. 8
you would
people
notice, wouldn't you, as well?
simultaneously in space.
You'd definitely notice when you're with an astronaut. You'd definitely be counting other people, wouldn't you? You'd definitely be aware of other people around you.
Would it feel too crowded?
I don't know. I don't like. I think it kind of would, but in the UK, if you drive an original Mini Cooper, right, and you're driving it along, and you see another Mini Cooper driver, you wave or you flash your lights to say, "All right, mate."
Yeah.
You drive the same car as I do. And I wonder, in space, is it the same as that, where if you saw someone else, you'd be like, all right. Or whether you'd be like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't want to get snubbed. Like if someone was and then you just get snubbed, like, you're just like, far out, man. You're not going to see someone for a next month at least. Like, lap it up.
Yeah. It's weird. Or do you know, like, when you go on holiday and sorry, everyone, you got to use your memory.
It's a loose night tonight. Okay, it's loose. It could take a while. This could be a long one.
But when
I don't care, we've got nothing to go to. You've got nothing to go to, so just chill out.
Right? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're on holiday and you get on, you meet someone, like some friends or whatever, who you make friends on holiday, because the commonality is that you're on holiday together. But really, in the real world, you wouldn't have anything in common. But you're both on holiday together, and you've got nothing else to do. You get on famously, and then it turns out that you're going to the airport at the same time, and you might well be on different flights, and you say a big goodbye to them, and then you get in the queue for the baggage, and it turns out that they're on the same airline, albeit a different flight, but they're in the queue. And then you've got to kind of do that weird thing, all the way snaking in the queue. You've already had your.
You just kind of got to run away. You see them run.
Yeah. You've just, if you're in that queue, you just got to go kind of, oh, isn't this funny? And then but that wears so thin so quickly.
Yeah,
but I can't imagine what it'd be like in space. Presumably, there's a limited number of airlines going to space. So, a couple of other interesting scientific breakthroughs as well. DNA is successfully cloned from an extinct animal in this year.
Okay, extinct animal. Okay.
We've already got some guesses coming in, and we've got Jay saying, did the 8 people survive in space? I think they're still there. No, I think they did come back. I think they came back.
I can't remember what the extinct animal was. I do remember, because there was the mouse that had the ear grown on its back. Everyone talks about that. And then there was something. It was a woolly mammoth or some rodent or something that was cloned.
Well, Bench has just said about the space incidents is that if there's
Yeah.
8 people in space, and you imagine the rage if you pulled your spacecraft over in a narrow bit of space and they didn't wave.
Yeah.
Oh, I get very annoyed when people don't do that.
I don't know. It's weird. Are you on a walk in? Are you oh, hello? Or if something dumb happens, you turn around like, hey, like that was something dumb. Because I've done that so many times and people have given me nothing, and it's annoying.
Oh yeah, sometimes I make a bit of a sport out of it. So if I go for a walk in the morning, I'll say morning to everyone and just see what you get back. Just as it's almost like market research. Should we get paid for it? In this year, we had almost 500,000 Iranian soldiers move into Iraq. Where does Saddam Hussein keep his DVDs?
Yeah, Iran. Man, if you don't want to watch a horrifying movie, don't watch The Devil's Double. I thought it would be a great movie. It's about Saddam Hussein's son. And then he got a body double for his son. And it is a horrible movie. Like, it's a great movie, but it's also absolutely disturbing. Yeah, what his son did and what he did. It is horrible.
Who, Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, I watched it with my grandma. Rest in peace. And it was horrible. Yeah, it was a fucking disturbing movie. But if you're in the mood for a disturbing, truthful movie, watch it. It's great. It's done well, but it's a hard watch.
Yeah. I mean, anything to do with the reality of the situation beyond the caricatures that were given in the mainstream media is quite upsetting. Oh, look, I'll move it on to a brighter note here, because in this year, a New York police detective, he's having a meal and he goes to tip the waitress.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to the waitress, I've bought a $1 lottery ticket, and for your tip, I'll give you half of that lottery ticket. Okay.
Yeah.
So she says, okay, I'll do that. The next day, they win $6 million.
What? Really?
How amazing is that?
And did he give it to him?
Yeah. They shared the $6 million.
Because I watched a movie on this.
Oh.
But I don't know if it was it was a love story and it was based on that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was a movie. I hope I haven't given it away.
I think it was called It Had to Be You or something like that, but I don't know whether it was based on this movie, but yeah, it was wild.
It's do you know the UK, the lottery in the UK, the National Lottery in the UK, it was the biggest, most successful lottery of all time anywhere in the world. But and some people in the chat might know this as well, but they named all of the, they have the different machines that circulate the balls, and they were all called after like Guinevere or Arthur, or like they all had like these like ancient names, which is, I just thought that was, and the company who ran the lottery were called Camelot. It's like, what is wrong with Britain? What is wrong with them?
Don't most people that win lottery, especially in England or whatever, don't they go broke? Like, isn't there some documentary or some show, I forget what it was, where they just track down every lottery winner and they're always like, yeah, I've got nothing.
Yeah, it's there was a really famous case of a woman who, before the National Lottery, she won the pools, which was like you predict soccer scores.
Oh yeah,
and she won the pools, and they said, "What are you going to do with your money that you've won?" And she said, "Spend, spend, spend." And the headline the next day in the media was "Spend, spend, spend," and she did. and she won like I think it was like £700,000 or something, but a lot of money for the era. And she was broke in like 9 months or something. Like, it was just like, but that's the thing, isn't it? About like, you know, people I grew up with, I know if you gave them £1 million, like it would be gone. Like, it's not like people don't like grow dynasties; they just spend it. Like, it's like that's why you should increase the minimum wage, because people on minimum wage spend all their money. It's great for the economy. It's like rich people find $10 in the street and put it in a tax-free haven.
Oh yeah, exactly. No,
offshore account.
I mean, now this is the first time ever I've had some money, like, and that's not even much, but I find myself getting tighter and tighter with it. I'm like, you know, I still spend like it's going out of fashion. Like, I still, you know, I'll buy craft beers and whatever, but I find, it is a bit more, like when I was broke, boy, was I frivolous. Like,
to interest, Stuart Dees just said as well, the pools competition was founded by a guy called John Moore, who is from, he has a university in my hometown called John Moore's University. That's an interesting aside. In this year, John O'Connor, he becomes the 8th Archbishop of New York.
Okay.
So not only did the Vatican open diplomatic relations with the US, but John O'Connor becomes the 8th Archbishop of New York, as well as the police detective split in half the tip as a lottery ticket. I mean, coincidence? Chinese troops as well in this year invade Vietnam.
Okay.
I've been on that border in Sapa in Vietnam, in the Sapa Hills. I didn't realize how close the Chinese border was to Sapa, but it's quite amazing.
And I loved Vietnam. My partner and I went there. You know, it's one of those places a lot of Australians go to, and they're like, oh, yeah. But it was amazing. The food there is so good. It's filling, but you're never full after it. You're full, sorry, but you're not like over full. Like, it's the best food, best people. I had the best time there. I would go and live in Vietnam. I was fully, and I went there with like a touristy mind, like, oh, this is going to be a touristy shit place, but we had the best time ever. Like, it absolutely rules. You got to go. For anyone who hasn't been there, you got to go.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go now, but put it on the list.
Put it on the list.
It is a tremendous place, and
if your list is half as big as mine, it's monstrous.
It's also quite weird, Vietnam, because you go and in the main cities, they've got ANZ banks and they've got KFC and stuff. And it's like ANZ banking. It's really disconcerting to see, but the Coochie tunnels and stuff like that are amazing. And I love the Vietnam Military History Museum because it's just like the lost property for the US Army. It's like they've just got loads of stuff that you're just like, oh,
it was crazy. Yeah, amazing country. It's so, I mean, I'd like to say it's underrated, but a lot of people go there, but I think they just see the normal stuff. But if you just go there and walk around, have food at the places on the streets, it's dynamite. Like, I could spend 6 months there, I reckon.
Yeah,
easy.
Absolutely, yeah. And welcome to Kel, who's joined us. She said she's a little bit late, but Craig Pease filled her in and said, "Don't worry that you were late because there was a lot of waffling at the start."
So much waffle. It's waffle night. It's waffle night, and have a beer guest a year. And if you don't like it, no, please stay. We need the viewers. Stop waffling, Ian. Hurry up.
This one might set people maybe honed down because some people might remember this, but this year, Australia proclaimed the green and gold as the national colours.
Wow. Okay. So we got the Australian flag. Then we've got the green and gold tracksuits kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Is that...
when I
how
saw
does that work?
this,
Does any other country have two different colours for their... Does the flag contrast with the colours?
Yeah, no, I can't think of any. And when I saw this, I thought, what did Australia play in before?
Yeah.
You know, like the soccer team plays in like the goal. You know, it's very distinctive.
Mm.
And I was like thinking, oh, what color? Maybe someone can fill us in the chat. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that'd be great because I've never thought about this before.
Because presumably playing in red, white, and blue it's quite a boring setup.
Yeah,
isn't
taken
it?
by a lot of countries.
Yeah, even Tesco, the supermarket. I mean, it's that boring. Also in this year, homosexuality is declared legal in New South Wales.
Oh my God. Yeah, as I said before, this could be 1995 or 1901.
I'll also look, I'm going to give you a few clues here to help you finesse this. What ballpark are you in at the moment? Just give us a...
I'm around 70s, 80s. I'm around
70s
that.
or 80s. Okay. We've had a couple of suggestions that the Netherlands, they play in orange, but their flag is not orange, but they do have a strong national association to orange, William of Orange, for example. New Zealand as well, they kind of play in... yeah, I suppose they do have black and white.
Are they even in the Olympics? Like, I didn't see any.
Well, there was
sorry
talk,
to offend any Kiwis.
there was talk of the term for the soccer team being all whites being phased out this week. Certainly the name for the New Zealand badminton team was phased out because I think that was the Blackhawks.
Oh man, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see
honestly,
where that was coming from.
Honestly, but like I don't want people to jump on
That's
Google
not
right now.
a joke. That was a thing. The badminton team are going to be called the Blackhawks.
Yeah, apparently so. It makes sense. It's like the all. I was actually at.
What a way to destroy your opponent. Anyway, sorry.
I was at a rugby game in England when New Zealand were playing, and there was a anti-racism campaign, and it said "All Blacks against racism." I was like, what? Get with the script. So we are a bit looser tonight. I don't know what it is. It might be the hazy IPA or the
who cares?
Salted chalk.
I'm actually really liking this.
In this year, George Soros. You familiar with George Soros?
Sounds familiar, but I don't know the name. No.
Oh, okay. There'll be a lot of people in the chat who light up with George Soros. He's apparently one of the people accused most regularly of like an international conspiracy. But George Soros in this year founded the Soros Foundation Budapest. So if that name means nothing to you, then that clue wasn't helpful. But also in this year, Mick Fleetwood.
Oh,
Fleetwood Mac. Mick Fleetwood files for bankruptcy in this year.
Oh my God. Poor old Mick. I wonder if this was before or after the band.
Presumably you went to the bank and they said you can go your own way.
Hey.
I just thought of that. I was like, I should have clicked that before, but really good.
Rumors is he's broke. Looks like it was back on the chain gang for Mick.
And there you have it, the finest 40 seconds of having a guest here.
He said, "Oh, only thunder happens when it rains."
Look, it was quite the box set running up to that moment. We got there. In this year, a boy who was born without an immune system, in this year he touches his mother for the first time, and he was 12 years old.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Because if you don't have an immune system, is that just your blood cells that you don't have? You don't have those immunity plus, like the system.
I'll just hold on. System. I might get Dr. Chant to answer that question. Dr. Chant. It's
like a hot water system where you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Presumably you have
That's my medical.
You have no resilience.
Medical similarity. All right. Well, okay. So we're getting close. Look, none of these clues have helped me between the 70s and 80s. Mick,
okay,
that's Anyway, yeah. Let's see how it goes.
I've got a few more to go. So it's kicking off about Fleetwood Mac in the chat as well. But Paul and Linda McCartney, they are arrested in Barbados.
Okay.
Can you imagine what they were arrested for? Vegetarianism.
Ah, really? Okay.
No. They weren't arrested to be a vegetarian.
Oh. Well, I believe this around this time.
I know you grew up in rural New South Wales, but vegetarianism isn't a crime.
I know that. Yeah, anything before 2000s, I believe
it. No, they're arrested for cannabis possession.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So this is when he's with Linda. This wasn't until after the Beatles split that he got with Linda, I think.
Yeah,
and they didn't more the Wings era.
Him and Linda did not spend one night apart in their whole time together until she died.
So I didn't know this. So Linda was his first wife, and then she died. That without giving it away. How long were they together? Like,
good question. It was a long time. It was because they were in Wings together.
They
and they had kids together. They became vegetarian together as well. And she had a line of vegetarian food, frozen food.
Stella's the daughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a designer.
And did Linda have only one leg?
No, that's Heather Mills.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I've ruined this. I don't know. I thought this might be a good time to catch up on Paul McCartney's love life.
Yeah, you got quite intense. You got quite intense about Paul McCartney's relations.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I forgot his name already, but the drummer from Rolling Stones died this week. Rest in peace.
Charlie Watt.
Charlie Watt. I heard the best story about him ever. Of course, it might have been over dramatized, but maybe not. But apparently Keith Richards came home at 5 a.m, and so did Mick Jagger. And they said, get up, get the fuck up or whatever. And he was sound asleep. And Mick Jagger said, get up. I want my drummer to get the fuck up. Where's my fucking drummer? Apparently he got up, had a shave, had a shower, put his best suit on, walked down the stairs, gave Mick a right hook that knocked him so far that Keith Richards had to grab him by the leg because he was sliding along a table and he would have slid out of a window that was 10 stories up. Yeah. So Keith Richards grabbed Mick Jagger by the leg, stopped him from going out the window, and then apparently Charlie Watts said, "I'm not your fucking drummer. You're my fucking singer."
Oh, that is so good. So good. And it's such an understated character as well, Charlie Watts, you know, considering like he was in one of the most famous bands of all time, and a lot of people can't remember his name. Like, you'd never forget Ringo Starr, but being fair, like, Ringo Starr did come to fame in Thomas the Tank Engine, so respect.
How much do you reckon Charlie Watts got recognised? I reckon never. I reckon hardly ever.
Yeah, apart from like the diehard. Yeah,
yeah,
apart from the diehard fans, but
he had the best deal ever.
Yeah, he actually used to work for KFC, Charlie Watts, but he got sacked for stealing the drumsticks.
I know the tone. There's this sneakish tone that you use. I'm like, oh, here we go. Norm Macdonald actually worked for KFC as well, but he had a gambling addiction, so he had to...
Sorry, that's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. I used to work at McDonald's, but in this year, we've gone through quite a lot. Desmond Tutu, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in this year. And this might help a lot of people out here. That Carl Lewis breaks the long jump world record with a jump of 8.675 meters.
Was Carl Lewis good at running as well?
Yeah, he broke the world record, I think, for the 100 meters. He was vegetarian as well. We got a couple of vegetarians. Talking of another vegetarian in this year, Hulk Hogan. I don't know if he's vegetarian. Hulk Hogan won his first ever WWF title in Madison Square Gardens, New York.
Oh, right. Okay.
Craig Pease just said, give us a Ringo impression, Ian. My whole life is a Ringo Starr impression. That's right, Percy. Richard Starkey, was his real name, Ringo Starr. And a couple of other things. The Thames Barrier, which was designed to stop London from flooding to control the flow of the Thames River into central London, was completed in this year and is still operational today. And Ted Hughes, are you familiar with Ted Hughes, the poet?
No.
He was married to Sylvia Plath, amongst others. But he's Queen Elizabeth II makes him the Poet Laureate in this year. Are you familiar with the Poet Laureate?
No.
So it's like
I don't know why. I'm not familiar with this. I feel ashamed.
It's when the royal family basically make a poet the official poet of the royal family, and generally it's known to take really promising poets or very accomplished poets, and they become terrible as soon as they get given this honor or this pressure of having to be the official poet for the royal family. Couple of other interesting ones before we start locking in the guesses. Other people have already started locking in the guesses, but Tetris, the computer game, was released in the Soviet Union in this year.
Okay.
And the United States passes the national minimum drinking age law, which means that everybody in every state across the US has to be 21 years or older to drink alcohol, or the federal government will cut the highway fund for each state. So like, you want those roads? Don't be letting 20-year-olds drink.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And also, we're talking about 8 people in space at once in this year. But also in this year, it was the first time a woman had ever walked in space. Svetlana Savitskaya was the first woman to walk in space.
Okay.
IBM, they released PC-DOS 3.0 in this year, and it was the first broadcast of the TV show Miami Vice.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Papa John's Pizza Store was also founded in this year, which became the 4th largest in the world. And the USA in this year left UNESCO because they said it was promoting Russia a little bit too much. And I'm a bit dirty on UNESCO, Kappa, this year, because UNESCO grants different places in the world heritage status for their outstanding features or beauty. So, for example, the pyramids of Giza are a World Heritage Site. I think Uluru is a World Heritage Site. Liverpool skyline, the city skyline, was a UNESCO World Heritage Site for about 12 years or so, maybe a little bit more. And they rescinded it this year. They said Liverpool can't be a UNESCO World Heritage Site anymore. I am filthy with UNESCO because of that. I know they built like a travel lodge right on the skyline in Liverpool. And I know that there's people in Venice a bit upset that Liverpool got on the list at all. And like people at the pyramids or
I tell you what, look, I would be with you on this one, Ian. I don't know how beautiful the Liverpool skyline is. I'm sure it's beautiful, but I went on a APT tour. So APT, one of those I used to be a travel agent, one of those tours for old people. I went on one.
I was going to say, how old are you?
So no, I went on one and I got really cheap rates because I was a travel agent. I managed to snag this deal for my parents and my grandmother and I, and we went through the Rhine for 2 weeks on this cruise. And I tell you what, there are so many UNESCO World Heritage sites that it's fucking boring, and every church looks the same. So they need to cut those down, Ian, because the greatest thing I saw was not the Pantheon, but I saw the Pantheon in Germany. That was the coolest thing I saw.
Hey, look, it made us feel special. It made people in Liverpool feel special. You know, it's like having an attractive person speak to you in a nightclub. You don't have to marry them to make it feel significant. It was fine. It was nice. Couple of other things. We'll do 3 more and then we'll lock in the guesses and wrap this up. But in March of this year, the Supreme Court in the US voted that cities can use public money for nativity scenes.
Okay.
Which is nice, isn't it? I never, you do see nativity scenes pop up, particularly in regional Victoria around Christmas time. And you think, and I've never thought, who pays for who pays? Is that taxpayers' money, really? But anyway, Elizabeth Taylor in this year, she entered the Betty Ford Clinic for rehabilitation. And Sevi Ballesteros won his 2nd British Open in this year. Sevi, great player.
Well, Ian, I've got a number in my head and I don't know why. And I was going to go, because I was born in 82. And then a couple of things tripped my mind. I was like, okay, IBM and Miami Vice. And the only reason I put it back later was because I saw there's a Twitter account that's got all the cameos in Miami Vice. There are so many cameos. So many.
When you say cameo, do you mean like famous people who drop in to Miami Vice, or the thing where you request stars to send a message to your dad?
People in Miami Vice. I'm talking singers, everyone. It's amazing. So I reckon 1989.
Do you want one more clue?
Okay. Am I way off? Oh my God.
I'll give you one more clue. Okay. I told you that the 8th Archbishop of New York City was ordained in this year. Okay. And in this year as well, the Terminator film was released. Now, if you remember the name that I said before for the 8th Archbishop of New York, what was his name? John O'Connor. Coincidence? Surely not. You know, as Arnold Schwarzenegger gone in for confession, St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, it sits in and goes, "Are you John O'Connor?" That would be so sweet.
So we're probably looking around 1985 then, 1986.
Jerry Adams, the leader of Sinn Féin, was wounded in an assassination attempt.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Jerry Adams, he's a very serious character. And in this period of time when there was a lot of trouble happening in Ireland and the mainland, they actually used to dub over in the news. So on BBC News, you would have Jerry Adams who would talk like that. "We want peace and peace now." But they would dub his voiceover. They'd get an actor to dub his voice. So Jerry Adams' mouth would be moving, but it'd be another person's voice saying his words, because they thought that would take like the wind out of their sails with the messaging. Isn't that extraordinary? You can get like there's videos on YouTube and stuff of like the dubbed, so like Mark McGuinness and so many other like factional leaders, and their voices are dubbed over. They're still with an Irish accent. It's not like they were dubbing them over in like a posh English voice. It was still like it was just a generic Irish voice. It's so strange. Please do Google that, because there's so brilliant. And
all right, well, Terminator 2, I reckon, was around 95, 94. So Terminator 1 might have been around 1991. So maybe I'll go 1991. I'm locking in 1991.
Okay. We've got quite a few guesses.
All right.
We have got 86, 88, 79, 92. We've got so many variations again. Quite exciting.
This is great.
But we also have Susan in the chat, Kappa. And you know what that means.
She's so good at this. Susan, just go back to Bendigo and hang out. You know, don't
Ballarat.
Stop annoying us.
But Ballarat and Bendigo surely should merge. So confusing. So welcome, Susan. You'll be pleased to know that the year for this year was 1984.
Ah, damn it.
I was trying to sway you this way, Kappa. I was trying to say, do you want to guess again? And you went further away.
Oh, God. cannot believe this.
Incredible. The first black mayor of Philadelphia, the Brunei becoming independent, Sevi Ballesteros winning his second British Open, Elizabeth Taylor going to rehab, the Frisbee world record broken, the boy without an immune system touches his mother for the first time, Desmond Tutu in the Nobel Peace Prize, Carl Lewis long jump world record. So many amazing things happened in that year. The green and gold was proclaimed as Australia's national colours in this year, and also the national anthem as well, which I forgot to mention.
Really?
Mick Fleetwood as well files for bankruptcy. Thames Barrier.
So was that was after Rumours or before? I think it was before it, because they recorded that album at Sound City. In that documentary Sound City, it's where they recorded Nirvana and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
They also recorded Rumours in the same studio.
It's crazy
but
as well.
It wouldn't have been long after.
It's crazy as well that that's the year 1984 where the whole of the US go for the over 21 drinking as well. Which I didn't know that. And yeah, first woman walking in space. The IBM released PC DOS and Papa John's. It's quite the year. So I'm sorry that we didn't get there, Kappa.
You bastard.
But we got
I was so close.
Susan obviously got it 1984. Susan absolutely George Orwelled it. We got Stuart D as well, got 1984. Craig P on 84.
Amazing.
And Andrew was going for 1979. Jay got 1988. I mean, it's all pretty good guesses around that to get within that. They were pretty tricky clues. And, you know, Joel was saying that, Anfield, Liverpool FC Stadium should be a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I'm sure we'll have our day. And Wirral is not a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it's only a matter of time. Cappy, you played a blinder there. And Hulk Hogan as well. Hulk Hogan's first WWF title, 1984.
I do like that you misguided me. I think it was great. I think that was like a real... I know you were trying to help me out, but I do like this kind of, this misguidance you've done to kind of, lead me further away. I think it was a good tactic, Ian, because it's kind of a type of competitive kind of thing that I don't see in you, that I have seen in you now. And maybe I'll try and do it to you next time.
Look, I think, one thing I'm conscious of is as we do more of this, and hopefully there's not much more of it, as we do more of it, is that our audience is becoming much more attuned to it. And also, there's a bit of overlap in one of the most difficult ones was a couple of weeks ago when the year was in the early 20th century. And one of the reasons is that we haven't done many years around that time. And so it's such an interesting kind of dilemma. My rule is always to keep it to one page of clues.
Yes.
That's it. But there's quite a lot in there. But it's hard to kind of choose which ones, what's going to give the game away, because definitely in 1984 there was lots of stuff about Ronald Reagan. There was it was an Olympic year as well in LA, and yet Carl Lewis, Ben Johnson, that whole thing was happening as well.
Lewis, because Carl Lewis held the record for a long time. He was kind of like a Usain Bolt. Like Usain Bolt, he's held the record for a really long time.
Well, actually, from memory as well, I think the LA Olympic Games 1984 was the first time women were allowed to run in the marathon. The first time they had marathon events, because they had previously thought women were too fragile to run that far.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
1984. It's like so backwards. Man, what a journey we go on with the show. You certainly learn quite a lot on the way.
And yeah. Well, anyway, I'll probably see you next week, Ian, next Thursday. See you guys there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is so fun. Love it. And keep having a beer. And we promise, after this one, we'll all get together.
Yeah, once we're done out of this, we're going to have a big catch-up.
Homebrew.
Together.
That'd be spectacular.
Homebrew meet-up.
I will pay the money, but Ian's not.
And we'll see you all next time for Have a Beer. Guest the Year. Thank you, Kappa. Play the Blinder. Thanks to everyone who attended as well tonight, particularly if you were new. Hopefully we'll see you next week. We'll see. Take it easy, everyone.